Sorry.
We're heading down to the Wonder Mine. This is the meat of things. Oh, look how pretty that is. Yeah, it should be. Go further. Yes, this is it. I don't know.
Have to go up and turn around and come back. No, it's way down.
That road will take you, connects to it too. You can make a right on this road. You go right and then make another right, and it'll all connect. Holy crap! Dixie Valley is fogged up. This is pretty extensive. Not an extensive ghost town, but there's a lot of roads. It was a big town.
See that road down there? Way down there? Yeah, way down there. See it?
Why can't she just take? She could take this right in front of the mill, or
that one way down there is probably. That's the one that goes straight to the mill. I don't see roads over here.
That road takes you down to the mill. So here's one of the last remaining walls in the lower part of this gorgeous town, or what was once one of the classiest ghost towns in this region of Churchill County or Nevada. And now all you have is mere walls, foundations, and empty shafts. And of course the very extensive Wonder Mill, which we'll be doing. Wow. A couple pipes sticking out of the ground. So we made it to the Wonder Mill. And you need to understand that a lot of the prospectors that worked at these mills, they came here in 1906. And within a matter of a month or two, I'd say around August, they already had a newspaper printout, a nice tent camp, and eventually all the other things came, like the drugstore, the cafe, the assay office, the stagecoach line, the freight depot, the mills, all that had came eventually. But the Wonder Mill was built in 1913. So there's no speculation, and it profited about 1919. I believe there was gold, silver, maybe borax, salt, multiple things that were mined here. You could see a lot of machinery around. But the Wonder District had at least 4 mines. They call these mountains ahead are the Alpine Range. Some people, whether you didn't realize or not, call these the Augusta Mountains. I don't know why. The railroad never really came here, so they didn't give a chance for this to thrive. But this looks like this is the vault. I have to wipe the lens because we're getting some rain. But I'll try to finish up my historical references. The first location of Wonder District, made as a mine or erected, is in 1906 when T.J. Stroud made a bunch of claims here on this land. You can see there's a fire pit, and then after the Wonder Mines were built, many other prospectors came. Eventually, they left Fairview to come here and hit the rich silver and gold veins that are found, which I showed you a few. They just go down deep into the Middle Earth. But it is raining, so I'm going to have to get going because I cannot let my camera get too wet. And I'll have to wait till it's slowing down. But you're going to see things around this mill like TNT canisters and old mining machinery. For example, twisted and mangled rusty pieces of metal. Sheet metal were mining shacks, and like this could have been on top of the mill as a roof. Used as roofing in the early 1900s. It was quite common. A few hundred people came after the mines were built. Now it says, I've read according to history reports that there was thousands of people that lived here, and I've read on other sites there was hundreds of people that live here. I'm willing to bank a few hundred lived in this valley, not a few thousand. Just so we set the record straight. But a lot of companies were organized. They had 4 major mines in this very hill behind the mine, or behind the mill rather. In 1913, a 200-ton cyanide mill was constructed, which is what you see here. The cyanide tanks are long gone. The claims of Wonder would be reorganized as the North Star and Hidden Treasure Mining Companies. It totaled 401 acres, 328 which were patented. And in 1910, I believe, electricity and water were brought to the camp by gravity pipe from Horse Creek, which is about 10 miles. The company ceased operations. It closed, like I said, in 1919, but it did make a heavy profit, over $1,500,000. And in 1924, a lot of the mine equipment was removed. They sold it. And in 1935, anything that was remaining, any equipment, was purchased by L.F. Curtis of Reno. And you also have, look at that, an outhouse. How often do you see that? That's real ghost town. That's part of a ghost town. If it don't have an outhouse, it's not a ghost town, right? Mining has been done on and off. You know, wonder led to a boom. Because you had Fairview and you had Fallon growing. But at the same time, you had other competition in Churchill County. Like, besides Fallon, you also had this very wonderful canyon where the city once thrived. And a lot of the miners came, like I said, from Fairview. And we'll go up to some of the mine ruins. When it was first started here by Horse Creek and the miners moved in, there was about 60 to 80 tents. Only the wooden structures would come much later. They said that Wonder also is a poor man's camp, meaning all the goods had to be hauled in or had to be hauled out to Hazen. Anything processed had to be hauled out. Freight rates were high because of its remoteness. We're above the mill, and I'll take it level by level. It's kind of cool to dig up some of the tin cans and relics. There's obviously nothing of value here. It's okay to look for old things like old metal pipes and cans and TNT boxes so we can get pictures of them, and that's what they're doing. It is raining though. But most of the miners came from Fairview, and I'm going to tell you why. They would follow the old river channel, and they would mine along that wash I showed you in an earlier video. They'd mine the wash, and that's where they'd find all their minerals until it led them to this behemoth mountain here, and it's just honeycomb with mines and rich ore during its day. But they worked their way up Horse Creek and all the way down to this valley you see here with the mill and the mines behind it. I'll be back. I gotta take some photos. This is Lord Rick. We are in the Chalk Mountains, and of course, according to my paperwork, the Augustus Mountain Range, or in modern times they've called it the Alpine Clad, which is where all that fog resides straight ahead. My camera is really wet, so I gotta dry it up. Actually, I wiped off my camera. I'm gonna take you guys very quickly up to the top. Wow, the rain has stopped. They have these water bins for the cattle, maybe even the wild horses. They're in blue, there's these little blue swimming pools filled with tubs of water. It looks like there's a watering truck that comes by and they put water in there for the cows because the creek runs dry out here, Horse Creek and everything. But I'm telling you, this is the mill is not bad looking. It's in despair, but this was a big mill that had 4 tiers all the way up into almost to the mines, as you can see. This is a story, this is a story, this is a story, all the way down, multiple stories. And of course you had flooring that sat on these wood beams. You see the wood beams? And you had concrete, and then you had reinforced lava rock or stone, which held up the sidewalls. It was really a piece of art, this mill. And now it's just crumbling. It's in a state of decay. As we climb on up and ascend, you can see details. Details are good. I've reached the top of the mill. This is the top of the Wonder Mill, and you can see. And everything is just toppled. These wood beams, at one time, where you see, for example, you see the metal, this would lock in to other wood beams and support. And this might be part of an ore chute. Some of these are toppled. It's like maybe the 1954 earthquake caused major damage. There's a lot of major damage. It looks like earthquake damage, like this toppling. This one's still standing, this one toppled. Don't forget, 12th largest quake in the U.S. has been 20 miles from here. And this whole mill had to shake loose. You can see it. There's just slabs everywhere. It's pretty amazing stuff, but this mill has seen better days. Oh my God. It's pretty bad. You have a few pillars here and there, but most of it, everything seems toppled. This is pretty cool. Oh yeah. This is stuff explorations are made of. I'm loving the Wonder Mill. It's what it's like to be inside a vault. A lot of people carve their names into the side. That's just not me. But I wanted to show you real quickly, I'm back down at the bottom of the mill and it stopped raining, which means we can go to our second ghost town soon. The main town site sat below, and you can see all the little streets. This outhouse probably came later. There's also a fire pit so people camp here. It's nice to uncover the past, and that's what we're doing here. We're preserving history, just trying to learn about the people that were here. Not looking to get rich or anything like that. It's just a matter of documenting this place before the Navy buys up this land and starts bombing this too, like they did with old Dixie Valley, or the ghost town of Dixie Valley. That's what it's called. Yeah, it was kind of hard because my camera was getting wet, so I was getting distracted when I was giving you guys a history or rundown of the mill about when it was built. But it was a cyanide processing mill. Because it cost too much to ship the ore, they would just process the ore right here as it came out of the mines below. So now, you know, the mill came later, the town came first. The post office, I believe, only stayed open a year in 1907. Like I say, this was a very difficult town to live in. It would cost $8,000 150 years ago for a business or property. Like I said, it's like 100,000, 200,000 today. It was a very classy ghost town. All employment or employees depended on the mines in the mill to keep them busy, and when those went bust, the town just was totally eradicated with a few foundations, overgrown sagebrush, and mainly this mill and its mines are a symbol of its early rich history before it became a ghost town. Boys found this spoon metal detecting. It's worth nothing, but I just wanted to show it to you before I throw it back where we found it. It's just a metal spoon, an old one, probably dating back to the early 1900s, early 1900s, and this is the type of thing you find with the detector. It's more sentimental than anything to make a discovery and to see that this is probably a spoon some miner had his beans on before he died in one of the mines. Pretty cool. I just wanted to add this in before I leave the Wonder Mine. I wonder why this spoon was found among the Wonder Mill. I also seen a lot of iron, so maybe they did some iron mining here as well. Leaving the Wonder Mill. Road's not so pretty when you're taking these back roads. There's mine shafts and fences all over where they tried to dig. I've seen some 10 feet down, but a lot of TNT canisters. They were blasting the hell out of this giant mountain. This is definitely some off-road in here, back in here. That's a mine. Yeah, that's a mine. No worries. Up here, there's something at the end, like a piece of like metal machinery. I'll check in this open area. So, folks, we found a spoon. May not, you know, like I said, it's not the worth. It's the fact of it. We're trying to educate people on the cultural history. I mean, the miners on their break ate with a spoon beans right out of the can. Beans had protein, so the miners could work 12 to 16 hour shifts deep below the mines. I bet in the summer the mines provided coolness, and in the winter warmth. Some mines work that way, not all though. There's this area up here which was mine, but I do want to check out a couple things
Here?
Yeah, in this part. You could actually stay on the road.
Yep, I'm standing on here. I mean, it's not like I'm blocking anyone.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't rain anymore. Jesus. A lot of pipes. They would use these between, well, that could be piping for water, but in some mines, a piping was a way to hold on, ascend up to another level in a mine. At least back in the day, that's how they designed a lot of mines. It's very dark skies. It's sprinkling. There's been patches of fog that have rolled in. Mining was done all the way from, as you can see, the bottom, top to bottom, I should say, or bottom to top. They started down here in the wash, which bends around both sides. There's a couple washes, and they started following the wash all the way to the top of the mountain where the veins are, and eventually built that mill you see. Wow. Water was brought to the town, but it wasn't good enough. You can see old rusty water pipes, and they just continue to go underground. I thought it was a relevant site to stop here just to show you that they did have a working water system, and this place still failed. Today, it's just open range for cattle, and you see wild horses and antelope. There's a lot of wilderness. This is desert, but once you hit over those mountains, you do hit a very alpine forest. This is a Bigfoot don't roam this mountain range. If it's got a way to live underground and come out and eat a few antelope, I'm pretty sure that it could do that. Look at this. It's cattle ground. There's a cattle print right there. We're going to come up. We're going to come over. That's it. Ain't nothing here. Go look for the cemetery, a couple more foundations, and get on out of here. Fairview Peak. One of the hottest earthquake zones in the country at one time. It used to rumble. A lot of fault lines past that mountain. It's a beast. This is Lord Rick.